All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going to explore the incredible story of David Goggins.
Looking forward to it.
So, we're using his Wikipedia page as our main source for this one.
Perfect place to start.
Now, Goggins, he's quite the character. We're talking retired Navy SEAL,
Wow.
ultramarathon runner, ultra-distance cyclist,
Okay, getting serious now.
triathlete, public speaker, author, and
Wait, there's more.
even an International Sports Hall of Fame inductee.
That's amazing. It's like, how does one person even fit all that in?
Right. You almost have to ask what drives this guy. I mean, where does he get all this energy and determination?
Well, his early life might give us a few clues.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly a walk in the park.
No, not at all.
Goggins faced, poverty and abuse growing up in Buffalo, New York.
Tough start.
And then after his family moved to Indiana, they had to deal with racism and threats from the Ku Klux Klan.
Wow.
So, yeah, definitely not an easy childhood.
No kidding. I mean, can you imagine how those kinds of experiences might shape a person?
Oh, absolutely. For Goggins, it seems like overcoming adversity became like a core theme, this driving force behind all his incredible achievements.
Yeah, like he almost had to build this superhuman resilience just to get through it all.
Right.
And on top of all that, he also had to deal with a learning disability and a stutter.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, can you imagine trying to navigate all that as a kid?
Must have been incredibly difficult.
It's no wonder he talks so much about the power of mindset and pushing past your limits.
It makes sense, right? Like when you face that kind of adversity, you learn that you're capable of so much more than you initially thought.
So we've got this picture of a young Goggins who's already had to overcome some incredible hurdles, right?
Yeah.
Now let's see how that plays out in his career.
Okay.
So initially he wanted to join the Air Force.
Okay.
And not just any role, he set his sights on becoming a pararescue jumper.
Those guys are like the elite of the elite.
Exactly. They rescue downed pilots, perform these incredibly dangerous missions.
Real heroes.
But then there's a setback. He gets diagnosed with sickle cell trait,
Oh, wow.
which sadly disqualified him from that path.
That must have been a huge blow.
It would be for most people.
Yeah.
But Goggins, he doesn't give up easily. He ends up serving as a United States Air Force Tactical Air Control Party member
Right.
from 1994 to 1999.
Still a challenging and important role.
Absolutely. So he's still contributing, still serving his country. But then here's where things take another interesting turn.
Right.
He leaves the Air Force, works as an exterminator for a while just to make ends meet,
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, it seems he decides he wants to become a Navy SEAL.
Whoa. Talk about a change of pace.
Right. But here's the thing. After leaving the Air Force, he had gained a significant amount of weight.
Oh, right.
And to even qualify for SEAL training, he had to lose.
Wait, how much weight are we talking?
Get this, 106 pounds.
They're kidding.
And all that in just 3 months.
3 months. That's incredible.
It's insane, right? 106 pounds in 3 months.
It's mind-boggling. I mean, that level of discipline, the sheer determination,
Makes you rethink those New Year's resolutions, doesn't it?
definitely puts things in perspective.
So he smashes the weight loss goal, makes it through the notoriously grueling BUDS training in 2001.
The SEAL training program.
Yeah, and then gets assigned to SEAL Team 5.
This guy is unstoppable.
But wait, there's more. A few years later, he graduates from Army Ranger School. And not just graduates, he graduates with top honors.
Wow.
He receives the Enlisted Honor Man Award.
Now, that's a big deal.
It is.
That award is based entirely on peer evaluation.
100% peer evaluation.
So not only was he physically and mentally tough enough to make it through, but everyone in his class recognized him as exceptional.
The best of the best.
It speaks volumes about his character and leadership.
Absolutely. So we've got this guy. He's overcome a really difficult childhood.
Yeah.
Pushed himself to the absolute limit, physically and mentally. Excelled in some of the most demanding military training programs in the world.
Right.
And you might think, okay, he's done it all, right?
I'd be satisfied.
But there's still so much more to his story.
Really.
And it's where things get even more interesting. But for now, let's just take a moment to appreciate what we've learned about Goggins so far. It's truly remarkable.
No doubt. This guy is the definition of resilience and determination.
Okay, so last time we were talking about Goggins' 40% rule.
Right. That we only use 40% of our capabilities.
It's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
This idea that we're all capable of way more than we think.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to measure,
Right.
But I do think there's something to it. This idea that we often hold ourselves back. Fear, self-doubt, or just not realizing what we could really achieve.
Makes you wonder, what are we all leaving on the table?
Right.
Like, what could we accomplish if we could tap into that other 60%?
I think that's what's so compelling about Goggins.
Yeah.
He's not just saying, work harder. It's more about, like, fundamentally changing your mindset, reframing your relationship with those tough moments, with pain and discomfort.
It's not about magic. It's about pushing those limits we set for ourselves.
Exactly.
But how do we actually do that? How do we put the 40% rule into practice?
Goggins talks a lot about self-awareness,
Okay.
understanding your own thought patterns, your behaviors, those moments when self-doubt creeps in or fear takes over.
It's like becoming your own coach, right?
Exactly.
Recognizing those limiting beliefs and swapping them out for something more powerful, more helpful.
Yeah, and it's ongoing, You don't just reach this perfect mindset.
Right.
It's about building that mental toughness to keep going, even when things get rough.
Which is where the whole can't hurt me philosophy comes in, right?
Yeah, he talks about how we've gotten too comfortable avoiding anything that's challenging or unpleasant.
Makes sense, right?
But Goggins believes real growth, it happens outside that comfort zone.
He applies this to everything, too, not just physical challenges. Oh, absolutely.
Relationships, work, personal growth.
It's all about pushing those boundaries, mental and emotional, just as much as physical.
Right, because discomfort, sometimes that's a sign that you're on the right track.
Exactly, like that saying, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you.
Not everyone's on board with Goggins's methods. Some folks think he's too extreme.
Right, some critics worry about pushing too hard too fast.
And Goggins himself talks about listening to your body, knowing your limits.
Right, it's not about ignoring pain.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you challenge yourself without risking injury.
It's about balance, right?
Exactly. Plus, Goggins' journey, it's his own. Not everyone needs to be a Navy SEAL or an ultramarathoner.
We can find our own challenges,
Yeah.
those areas where we're holding back. Maybe it's writing that book,
Right.
starting that business, having that tough conversation.
It's about identifying those mental barriers we've built and then finding the strength to break through them.
And Goggins, he's not all about individual achievement either. No, definitely not.
Remember his work with the Special Operations Warrior Foundation?
Oh, absolutely. Raising millions for families of fallen soldiers.
It shows a real commitment to service, a sense of giving back.
Yeah, it's a reminder that pushing yourself, it can be about more than personal glory.
It's like he's saying, if I can go through all this, imagine what you can do to help others.
Powerful message,
He's not just talking the talk.
right?
He's been through it. Face those demons, come out stronger.
I think that's why his message connects with so many different people.
He's authentic, not preaching from some ivory tower.
And that's why it gives people hope.
Yeah.
Hope that they can overcome their own challenges, achieve things they never thought possible.
So, speaking of pushing boundaries, did you hear about the time entrepreneur Jesse Itzler hired Goggins to live with him?
Oh, yeah. That's a great story.
Just for a whole month.
Itzler saw Goggins in this 24-hour ultramarathon and was just blown away.
Can you imagine having David Goggins as your live-in life coach?
Itzler wrote a whole book about it, Living with a SEAL.
I've got to check that out.
It really gives you a glimpse into Goggins's mindset, his training methods.
Amazing how Goggins' story just keeps inspiring people.
It really is.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into his life and philosophy, what are the big takeaways for you?
For me, it's that we're capable of so much more than we believe.
Yeah.
Goggins really makes you question your assumptions, break free from those limitations we put on ourselves.
Embrace the discomfort that comes with growth.
Exactly. And it's not about becoming some superhuman.
Yeah.
It's about taking those principles of resilience, self-awareness, mental toughness.
And applying them to everyday life.
Exactly.
And it all comes back to that 40% rule.
Right.
We have these untapped reserves just waiting to be unlocked.
Absolutely.
So as we leave this deep dive, I'm curious, what's one area where you could apply Goggins's philosophy?
That's a good question.
What challenge have you been putting off? Maybe because you doubted yourself.
Maybe it's time to start that project you've been dreaming of,
Yeah.
or have that tough conversation you've been avoiding.
Just commit to showing up a little bit better every day.
Goggins shows us what's possible when we tap into the power of our minds.
Refuse to let limitations define us.
Who knows? Maybe this is the start of your own amazing journey.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the life of David Goggins. We hope you got some valuable insights, a renewed sense of what's possible.
Yeah, and remember,
It's not about being perfect.
it's about getting better. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Yeah, it's amazing
Yeah.
to think about all that potential just waiting to be unlocked.
And it's never too late to start.
Oh, right.
Goggins, he didn't, discover all this until later.
He was in his late 20s when he decided to become a SEAL.
Right. So it just goes to show you
Yeah.
transformation, growth, it can happen anytime.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the life of David Goggins, what's one final thought you'd leave with our listeners?
I think it goes back to what we were saying before. Goggins, it's not just about these crazy physical feats.
Right.
It's that inner drive, that refusal to just settle.
In any area of life, right.
Exactly. Pushing those boundaries, mental and emotional, just as much as the physical stuff.
And you don't have to, run an ultramarathon or anything like that.
No, not at all.
Start small, right?
Right.
Find one area where you've been holding back.
And take that first step.
Outside that comfort zone.
Maybe it's something you've always wanted to do, but were too afraid to try.
Or just showing up a little bit better each and every day.
Keep pushing, keep learning, never stop believing in yourself.
Like Goggins says, it's not about being perfect, it's about getting better.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of David Goggins. We hope you found it inspiring, maybe even a little challenging.
It's been a pleasure.
And who knows, maybe this is just the start of your own extraordinary journey.
Absolutely.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.